But some of the stuff that we've seen in the world of sport over the last
few days, surely
it has to be false, surely. I'm on the show with Sadat Akram and Arif Aziz as always. Welcome to you both. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I bet you can't wait for this show, Arif.
No, definitely can't.
Sadat,
do you know what? I'm glad it was this week and not last week we discussed, because obviously a lot of stuff's happened since then. And the crying and
build
stuff.
Up. Yeah.
Let's not go straight into it. Let's bide our time. But firstly, apologies to our listeners for not being live last week. We had a couple of unavoidable incidents, unforeseen circumstances, which meant that we were unavailable. But we are live, as I say, today on 106.2 FM, Salaam Radio. Do you like that link?
I like it.
That was quite good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Inspire FM as well. Assalamu alaikum to our listeners in Luton, 105.1. I'm sure there's plenty going on that you guys will want to get involved in. So could we do the customary sharing our shows? Also, that is watching with me. I want to share it on my page, and I'm not going to write a post. I'm just gonna share it. Post. There we go. So if you are watching on Facebook, or if you are listening in your cars, or if you're listening on your phones, please do interact with the show. Call us in the studio on 01733 602 133. That's 01733 602 133. You can also get in touch and give us your comments on the Facebook, and we'll be sure to respond to all of your comments, questions and observations. A big week of sport, big 2 weeks of sport. We missed last week, like I said. And probably just to offer some of the stories, because they've developed over the last few days.
Yep.
But obviously the big event was last night with the boxing. Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker.
Before we go to Anthony Joshua Parker, did you watch the undercard fights?
So I heard there was some very tasty ones. There was a knockout, wasn't there? By Price.
The game before, I don't know the names of the boxers, to be honest. But it was a good fight. I don't know if you watched it.
I was out and I didn't get back till the
the boxer was out as well. He got knocked out clean.
The boxer was out clean, wasn't he? The boxer was not happy at all.
No, but if you ever get to see the shot, it was a good left hook, and it stunned him.
Yeah.
So when he started, it was the tall guys. Apparently, he's just come back after a couple of years or something.
Sure.
And he was so stunned, his hands dropped, and he was just standing there looking dazed. And you're thinking, all right, ref's going to stop it. And it was a free hit, basically. And we were debating with my brother, should he have really hit him? Because looked like he was going to go down anyway.
Okay.
And it was a free hit, and that obviously
I think he was
him.
going to hit him, though, wasn't he? Because, look, you want to put your opponent out.
You take your chance.
Yeah, you take your chance. But you can tell that left hook just stunned him, because he was like, where am I? I'm dazed, hands are down.
That was David Price.
It's a David Price,
He was fighting against a Russian, half the size.
Yeah, and then it hit him, and then
it was a shock, though, wasn't it?
It wasn't, and obviously they were quite worried about him because the ambulance came in and everything, but luckily he got back onto his feet and everything. But yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of the punch that Anthony Joshua took against Klitschko. Do you remember? He got stunned.
He did get stunned.
And Klitschko was about to finish him, but he just went down. He
Yes,
let his knees buckle, and
Yeah.
he took a count
Yes.
because he saved himself from the follow-up shot, which would have knocked him out.
Yeah.
So that's clever boxing from Anthony Joshua's part.
But I think with Price on this occasion, I don't think there was no awareness of what to do. Yeah, he was, I think with the stun with AJ, he obviously still was aware of what was happening around him.
Yeah, okay.
Price is
so you think the lights went out, but the knees didn't buckle.
He
just got finished off.
Yeah.
So with those kinds of things, I don't know, as a boxer, you probably know. You can see your opponent's eyes, and you know there's nothing going on there. They're kind of dazed and they're done. But the big fight of the night, Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker. Did you watch it?
Yes, watched all of it.
I watched it. You probably caught a bit of it as well.
I didn't get a chance, actually. I couldn't get it on. Couldn't get onto
the airplane.
No, I couldn't get onto it because it just wouldn't. I tried to buy it, but just said wait a few minutes. This is after 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I think
you can still buy it and then watch the replays on box office. I think in a few days' time they'll probably start.
They keep it like today. I think there was the ad was.
But from what I heard, it wasn't the greatest of fights, was it? It was pretty boring, was it?
I don't know. There's two.
Camps.
Yeah, there's one is like they didn't get at it, they didn't really go. But then there's the other one. It was boxing for it was boxing. It wasn't a scrap or a fight. It was proper boxing.
So I noticed something before the commentators mentioned it. I noticed something myself in that they were standing very close to each other throughout the fight.
Yep.
And the commentators were saying, look, they're within short distance, but it's such a technical and tactical fight that you can be standing really, really close within shot's reach, and people still.
I think Joshua kept him to his, because Joshua stepped all the time, get closer to him, and then you can see that Parker was stepping back, and that's why he always ended up closer to the ropes and Joshua in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
and he kept that jab going, and you can see that jab were hitting. He
got a cut, didn't he?
Yeah, and everything. So he was gaining the points, shall we say?
From what I was listening to, I think the referee, was he jumping in a bit too quick as well?
I'm not have too much experience of boxing, and maybe you guys or anybody listening who can phone in and say, but they did say this referee. Why did they pick this referee after the event? So during the game,
it was his 4th championship.
Because before I saw the stats, it was his 4th championship fight. There was no comment about this referee likes to jump in or anything like that. Like you have before matches for football, for example, you say, this referee's he's giving this many cards and stuff like
Camp AJ, they don't mind. It's absolutely fine.
It suited him, didn't it? Because
I saw from Joe Parker, he was pretty good inside. He was pretty good with his body work, and he hurt Anthony.
He really rushed him. He rushed him a couple of times, and it was like Joshua then just stuck it out his left hand and just make sure he stayed at that reach and kept him there, which is perfectly fine. For his tactic wise.
Cameron Qureshi is watching. Cameron, did you watch the fight last night? Let us know what you thought. 21-0 now. 21-0.
But it's not a knockout, isn't it? He had 20 knockouts, and now he's got one without a knockout.
So what's the record? Most consecutive knockouts?
I don't know. I saw his record.
It's Wilder, apparently. Wilder's got 32 straight.
Has he really?
Has he got 32 straight knockouts? Because he's calling out Wilder, wasn't he? Because that's who's got the biggest belt?
Anthony Joshua's got 4.
4.
And Wilder's got 1. So,
and there was all this comment about Wilder's not well known as Anthony Joshua around the world.
So global marketing, we talk about, and it's a shame when we're talking about the sport, we're talking about the marketing side and the commercial side. But Anthony Joshua's got far better commercial, marketability than Deontay Wilder. So,
is Wilder American? Is he?
Yep, he's American, but he's Joshua, not really loved by the Americans.
No, and that's again, obviously this is coming from the Joshua's camp when they were talking about it on the interview last night, which I'm sure you would have heard. And they're saying you go to America and you ask American who's Wilder, they don't know. They've never heard this name. You go around the block.
And I reckon the Americans will get behind him if there is a fight.
But where will the fight
behind
be?
Wilder?
Yeah.
No, they just don't like the cut of his jib.
Yeah.
They just don't like the way he comes across. And, Anthony Joshua he's really charismatic, isn't he? He's well spoken. Even after 12 rounds, the interview he gave was quite witty. He was quite funny. He got the crowd behind him, and he wasn't,
and wasn't disrespectful in the sense, he gave his opponent the respect. Met his mother afterwards. They showed that in the ring.
He?
They gave her a hug and a kiss, sort of thing.
Okay,
and so doing all the right thing, ticking all the right boxes. If you see what I mean, and a likable
he's
fella,
a respectable guy, isn't he? He's not one that's gonna try to sell tickets and try to badmouth an opponent.
So again, we talked about this when he fought Klitschko. In that it was such a classy run up to the fight, and it was a very classy finish. And I kind of felt the same way with this fight as well. In that, Joe Parker's management were highlighting some of Anthony Joshua's weaknesses, but even then, not in a disrespect. Not you're going to get knocked out because you've got a glass chin, but he has been down in his career, and Joe Parker hasn't been down. And even still, Joe Parker hasn't been down.
Yeah.
But
they say, is it because he lost that weight, Joshua, that he lost a bit of power behind his punches? Because he did hit him a couple of times, but he didn't knock him down. And they're saying maybe because he's obviously lost a bit of weight for this particular fight to make him faster.
Okay.
And that's probably lost a bit of power behind his punches, and that's probably why it didn't affect Parker as much if he was a heavier weight.
He's definitely lost weight since his previous defence. And he's probably a little bit lighter than he was.
And Parker lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, and he was a little bit lighter than he was against Klitschko. But he's been getting heavier and heavier and heavier over the years. So he's probably about the same weight as he was
when he first kicked off.
Fight 16, fight 15. We're not talking about huge numbers here. We're talking about he's lost about 4 or 6 pounds. It's not.
No, but from my understanding,
which isn't great, is it? Which isn't
given he's around the 20
much,
stone mark. 6 pounds here and there. It's just not a lot, really.
It's not really a lot.
And because they're heavyweights, you don't have to make a weight, do they?
No, but it was technically for this particular fight because that Parker was lighter.
So that obviously you watched it. I didn't get the opportunity, unfortunately. But so why do you think? Why do you think it wasn't one of the best fights? Did you think it was just a professional fight from?
I think he got the job done.
Yeah,
that's what he needed to do. He respected the Parker. and he thought, right, the advantage I have is the reach and my jab, and he was behind it. And I think, what comment did he make at the end of the spree? It was, a jab will take you around the world, and your left hand, was it?
So no, he said
your jab will take you.
Your right will take you around the block. Your jab will take you around the world.
Yeah.
And one thing I found really encouraging was he said, look, I had a plan was to stay behind my jab.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be the most exciting fight, but I had to win.
Yeah.
And I did it to win. And the crowd actually cheered that. And sometimes, crowds, they want a good fight, but they actually cheered the fact that he's...
Yeah, technically, they want to see some technical...
But he did throw a few... when they did get close together, they did, have a good bit of scrap, as you would say, rather than boxing. But the referee was very quick to get in there and pull them apart.
Did Parker have any opportunity at all?
No.
To
I think he was...
win the game, win the fight?
I think Joshua had him...
Round 10, 11, there was a couple of good body shots, which made it look like Anthony Joshua was rocked a bit, but when you're so late into the fight, you don't have the energy to follow up.
Yeah.
And it was also on a counter. He was a very good counter puncher. Joshua would go in. Joshua was, that's why Joshua won most of the rounds. He won like 10 rounds to 2, according to 2 judges, and 9 rounds to 3, according to the other one.
Yeah.
It was a pretty wide margin, but he won those because judges, they reward you for being aggressive, for coming forward. Now, Joshua, with his longer reach, obviously he was leading with his jab, and he kept pushing Parker into corners and against the ropes. But it was...
Because I don't remember Parker in the middle of the ring, as, he was on the outside all the time, and it was Joshua stepping in all the time with that jab. And there was a couple of times, like we said, where he did rush Joshua. Parker rushed him and, got a bit excited.
So Parker wasn't the aggressive fighter then?
I don't
think he was allowed to be the aggressive fighter.
It looks like we've got a call coming through. I think Cassim might be pushing something through to us to answer. Cassim, do we need to take this call?
Come on, Cassim, talk to us.
Well, we've got Shaz Hamid watching as well. Shaz, give us your comments. I'm sure you watched the fight last night. Let us know how that got on, and also let us know what you're thinking about the vet's performance on Friday night. We lost, but he wasn't disappointed. We lost, but he wasn't disappointed in terms of how we... we are going to take this call, actually. Just give me a moment while I turn the fader up. Assalamu alaikum. This is Salaam Sports. Imtiaz Ali speaking. Who am I speaking to?
Wa alaikum assalam. Imtiaz is Waj.
Waj, assalamu alaikum. How are you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah. Good.
Assalamu alaikum, Waj. How are you? Everything good?
Wa alaikum assalam. You're alright?
Alhamdulillah. Not too bad.
What's the fight last night, boys?
Yeah, and how did you? What did you think? I mean, we're talking about that fight, and we're talking about how, a great result for AJ, but it wasn't a really entertaining fight for boxing fans. You're a boxing fan. Were you entertained?
Not especially. I think the referee ruined that fight a lot. Every time Parker was getting close enough for it to turn into a decent scrap, the referee kept pulling them apart, and it was like they're not tying each other up. If they were constantly tying each other up, then fair enough, you break them up. But he was close enough. He was in range. And to be honest, all the times when he was getting close is when AJ was trying to throw that uppercut, and he would have perhaps landed eventually, but he was just pulling them apart. It didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, there was one point, correct me if I'm wrong, Wedge, is when they were actually exchanging a few punches really close by, and the referee just jumped in and says,
"Yeah, that's right.
Too
I think
close."
It was round 10. It started. I think it was round 10. I'm fairly sure it was round 10. It was ridiculous. I just couldn't make sense of that referee.
And what was he doing with Anthony Joshua's tape on his glove?
Yeah.
Like, surely that's his corner's job. He went in the middle of an exchange to try and rip a bit of tape off.
Yeah. He was all over the place. Our referee was just not with it at all. I don't think that was a great choice by the promotions to put the Italian referee in.
He wasn't inexperienced, though, was he?
It didn't even seem like he understood a lot of English, because Parker kept saying to him something about the glove, the tape on the glove.
Okay.
I don't think he understood. I think he wasn't seeing it, and he just wasn't understanding.
And I mean, what, do you think Team AJ were happy with the way the referee refereed it? Because, like you say, it was Parker that kind of lost out on the fact that they kept getting broken apart. And Anthony Joshua's plan was always to stay behind his jab, so surely that was a good thing for.
Well, it worked in a sense in AJ's benefit, but at the same time, it also constricted him from actually doing. It restricted him from doing what he normally does, which is throw some big bombs, and he couldn't actually get going because of the same reason. I think it was the referee. But I mean, look. The long and short of it is this lines up some really big fights for AJ in the future.
Well, he mentioned
really
Wilder
sets
and
up-
Fury, didn't he, in his post-fight?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the thing is, Wilder, I don't know if Sujar's listening at the moment, he'll disagree with me. But I think Wilder will get himself knocked out by AJ. I think that will happen.
Okay.
Fury beats them both.
Do you think it's going to be more of an open fight with
No,
them?
he just said our caller just said Fury beats them both.
Well,
Fury
even though he's
beats
been out of boxing for what, 3 years?
Yeah, absolutely. He's awkward. He comes out with silly angles. You get in there with him, and it's like you're fighting a madman. I don't think anybody's going to be able to deal with Fury. I really don't.
Yeah, but
Fury is far too much of a handful for the heavyweight division at the moment, and he's huge.
Fury
I
hasn't
mean, look,
fought
I
for a
don't know
few
if
years,
you've-
though, has he?
Well, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. He's got fighting in his bloodline. You know, he's the Gypsy King.
How old is Fury now? Sorry, how old is Fury now?
He's still in his late 20s, isn't he? He's still a young
So yeah,
man.
no, age is not an issue with him. The issue with him
Yeah,
is
the
he's,
age
he's
is
not,
older
he's
than
not
he
mentally
does.
he's not mentally ready to. I mean, he had a medical, didn't he? And he got stripped of his belts because he
Yeah.
wasn't medically sound to fight. So it'll be
Well,
interesting to see.
that was drugs, wasn't it? He was getting himself. He got into a bit of depression.
But
and
that's
what
the
have
interesting.
you,
The interesting thing is, and I mean, what do you think about this? But I think Anthony Joshua, he mentioned Wilder and Fury because Wilder's the obvious one, but he mentioned Fury because it'd be a big British fight. It'd be one of the biggest
will.
British fights ever.
It will.
And
This
do
is
you
what
think
I'm
he
saying. So
do you think he just put that out there to see the reaction from the crowd and to see the reaction on, like, I don't know, Twitter?
Well,
and stuff?
no, I think if you look on social media, you know, they're always having taking digs at each other. This is bound to happen. You know,
And
this
Fury's
fight
got
is
a
too big for it
good
not to
following as
happen.
well. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Fury converted a lot of the haters when he beat Klitschko, and the way he acted after beating Klitschko. I mean, he was the king of the world at the time. Do you know what I mean? And it was the things that he was tweeting.
Yeah, he was very humble, wasn't he?
Very humble, very humble. And he's a people's champion. No, he really was. Honestly, Imjaz. Look, the thing is, when
It was
he's on
a
the
joke.
cameras, there's a difference. There's a difference. Hold on. Now, if you see his social media, he's humble. You see him on live television, and you'll give it a large. He builds the fights really well, but his following, his genuine following, people who really like him, and they look at his social media, and he comes across as a really nice guy. So this is where I'm at with it. I do still think that he was quite humble when even after he beat Klitschko. You know, he was seen in I don't know, in one of the supermarkets wearing very very standard clothes. No,
No, he's definitely not. He doesn't. I mean, he's not going to go out there and spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on post-fight parties and stuff like that.
This is
Yeah,
what I'm
absolutely.
saying. Whereas you
Take
get
that on
someone
board.
like David Hay. David Hay bought a Ferrari as soon as he beat Derek Chisora.
Sure.
You know, so these kind of things, there's a big difference. You know, I'm sure he drives a nice car too, but it is what it is.
But Waj, thank you so much for your call. I think the main thing from this is, I mean, you're absolutely right. If Anthony Joshua had lost, it probably would have been a nail in the coffin for British heavyweight boxing for the next 2-3 years, and he'd have had to build himself back up again. But because he's won, now, like you say, it's exciting times. British boxing, especially in the heavyweight division, is back on the map, and some really good fights to look forward to over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say real quickly.
Go for it.
Before you guys, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't even that. I knew the AJ fight was going to be the way it kind of went.
Okay.
I expected that. I expected Parker to move a lot. I expected Joshua to try to catch him, but it was going to be a tough night. I said that from word go. The Price fight was the one that I was really excited about. I really was hoping that David Price was going to do the business against Kavotkin. But that ended in a brutal knockout. I don't know if you guys watched that.
We talked about that a little bit earlier, yeah.
It was the left,
I
wasn't it?
think
The
it's
left hook
Curtin
that dazed
now
him,
or
and then
David
he smashed him through,
Yeah,
didn't
the
he?
right hand came over and hit him in the temple, and unfortunately, it did. He was extremely disorientated, it seemed, so he just put his hands down and he just took a horrible left hook. But yeah, this
is that a situation
like
again?
I said, moving forward, we've got some exciting fights coming up, guys.
Excellent, Waj. Thank you so much for your call, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you, Waj.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
All the best. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, so great insight there from Wajid Ajaib. Big fan of boxing, big fan of the show. Big fan
definitely.
of the show. So,
I just Googled, and AJ drives a Toyota Avensis like myself. I just thought I'd say that.
does he?
No.
We've had a text
There are
in
other
from,
vehicles out there.
We've had a text in from Ali Abbas saying Ali Abbas texted saying we're doing a special dessert of the day to honour AJ's victory called Never Again.
Never again.
So thanks for that. Let's move on. Let's move on from the boxing now to the Formula One. We had the Melbourne Grand Prix last week, which we weren't able to cover. But okay, so pretty much deja vu, wasn't it?
It was.
Lewis Hamilton looking great in practice, great in qualifying, and then Sebastian Vettel winning the race.
Well, didn't something go on in the race?
Yeah.
Though?
Yeah,
it wasn't
something
a
did go on.
straightforward. It wasn't a straightforward win for.
I think this is the thing. You know, it was going to be just a standard performance from Hamilton. Hamilton was leading the race.
He was doing so
Yeah,
well. Every
yeah.
single stage, you know, he was always in control. He was just like, everything was absolutely fine. And then?
And until basically they had a little incident, didn't they, where they had to bring the circuit car on.
Okay, so safety car, I don't know if you remember this. The safety car used to be a car that used to come out and where
couldn't
it used to-
overtake it.
You couldn't overtake it.
Yep.
What that meant was, I mean, it was a fast car, but it's nowhere near as quick as some of these other cars. And it would go around as fast as it could, and the whole grid would bunch up behind it. So if I was 30 seconds on the grid behind you and the safety car came in front of you,
You got a chance
within
to
a
catch
lap,
up.
I'd have caught up with
Yeah.
you because, you know, it's bunched everyone up. Now we've got a virtual safety car, which means they are told so that was a bit unfair because it depends on where the safety car would come out. So now when the safety car's out, the virtual safety car's out, everyone on the track has to bring their speed down to, I don't know, what is it, 100 miles an hour, whatever it is, yeah?
To keep the same distance.
To keep the same distance, so
Right.
you're no longer, so there's there's a button on your
You
steering
could take
wheel, you can't-
advantage, yeah.
exactly. And it was this safety car that came out at just the most inopportune time for Lewis Hamilton. And it was an issue of when you go into pit, when you come out of pit. Because if you're in pit, you're going to take the same time in pit as you would otherwise, whether there's a safety car or not.
Absolutely,
If
yeah.
you're spending that time on the track, you're wasting that time, because if you can be in pit for part of that time, then when you're out on track and the safety car's not there, you're making up that time, right?
Right.
And it just came out at just the wrong time, and Sebastian Vettel managed to get in front of Lewis Hamilton and win the Grand Prix. That was quite late in the race as well, wasn't it?
It was quite late in the race, and he tried his best. I think had he realised a safety car was coming out, then he would have made sure that he'd gone ahead of the Vettel. But it just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's just
didn't
it's
happen.
about. I mean, they're not going to announce it. They're not going to say,
Yeah.
"Look, we're going to put the safety car out."
So
so do your tactics in advance of this. Yeah. So the safety car kind of it kind of snatched victory. But
Disappointing.
the point I was making about deja vu was, it was pretty much all Lewis Hamilton's race, and then Vettel ended up winning the Grand Prix. Same thing happened last year, but we know what happened last year. Lewis Hamilton went on to win the championship. So
did, yeah.
it could be a good omen if you believe in omens. Not that I believe in omens, but it could be a good omen. But yeah, that was really exciting. When's the next one?
I think the next one's this coming week.
And which one are we attending this year?
Yeah,
'Cause you're going to take us to one.
yeah.
Let's just say it and we'll do it.
Okay. I reckon Monaco should be a good one. We should do a Monaco one.
Yeah, I think we should do Monaco. So that, can you do a bit of research ahead of next week's show?
Okay.
Find out when the Monaco Grand Prix is.
Yeah.
And then
We should do the
book our
Monaco. It's
tickets.
not too far away, and
Well, south of France, isn't it? Yeah, always
and,
fly over.
if you're going to
Yeah.
somewhere like India, you need visas and stuff, so it's always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But somewhere.
Although
like
India Grand Prix would be sensational.
India
Yeah,
Grand
we
Prix
could
would
crawl
be
across the
sensational.
border, see the family.
I don't think we'll be able to get across the border. I don't think we'll be allowed anywhere near the border. But certainly, I think the India Grand Prix would be a really good one. I mean, there's, I think early season is just where they do more over certainly in Australasia now, aren't they? And they're going to go Far East, Southeast Asia, Malaysian Grand Prix, and so on. They're going to come on, and then the subcontinent, and that's when they come over to.
Absolutely.
When do they have the American? Can you remember?
The American is it's gonna be. We've got a few months.
Yeah.
I think it's last year was in December.
So they start Far East
Yeah.
and they work their way west. I think. Yeah. So interesting one.
But it's gonna be good. I think Hamilton's got his work cut out.
Okay, so the big talking point
Yeah.
for this show, and we've kind of been just staying away from it a little while, but we are going to talk about it now. Well, certainly straight after the break, is the cheating fiasco in Test cricket with none other than Australia. I'm sure everybody's heard about this
Aussies
story.
cheated?
I'm sure no one has missed this story. This is not April Fool's, guys.
No.
Sadat, you're a keen follower of cricket.
No,
Where
but
have you been this week?
this is why it's so extraordinary, is because the Australians have traditionally been the best Test team in the world. Probably their
talk about this.
late 90s, early noughties team was probably the greatest Test team ever in many people's views. And they've always been hard battlers, and they've always been in your face and
They've
arrogant.
always-
and
they've
they've been allowed to get away with it
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they're so good. And now this has come out.
The mighty have fallen.
And one of the tweets I saw was from Shane Warne, who said, "I'd cheat on my wife but I wouldn't cheat in cricket.
He's done that.
But this is and it's a massive thing because cricket is followed religiously there.
Well,
in Australia.
cricket is the biggest sport in Australia. It's the standard bearer of any sport. And if you look at how sports in general is going in Australia, if you look at the swimmers, they've become aggressive. If you look at the rugby players, they've become, and they've taken
it's
this.
Just not, it's just not the way that British sports people do. British sports people, they always try to be a little bit cut above. Obviously, there's cheating everywhere, but they try to be a little bit cut above. They certainly try and be polite. We're going to talk more about this straight after the break. So, guys, we'd love to get your comments in as well. Please do join the show in 4 minutes' time. We'll speak to you soon.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Have you visited Amar Food Store yet? Now open at Lincoln Road Triangle, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. All your favourite brands under one roof. We take payment by card, have free customer parking and offer a free local delivery service. Also available, PayZone for bill payments and money transfer services to Pakistan. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat. Now open at Lincoln Road Triangle. Call us on 01733 68 73 74. High in quality, low in prices. Third world and developing countries are home to some of the most vulnerable children on the planet. Malnutrition, severe lack of medical aid and access to clean water are just some of the horrific challenges faced by orphans across Africa and Asia. Children of Adam, a Peterborough charity, need your help to bring aid to these orphans for just £25 a month. To sponsor an orphan or assist with other projects, please call 0300 321 0032 or visit www.childrenofadam.net.
The Lantern Initiative presents Healing Minds, a ladies' event aiming to raise awareness of mental health and well-being. Sunday the 8th of April from 2 to 6 p.m, Alton Hall Hotel, Peterborough. Presentations from guest speakers include Wajiha Amin, Layla Habibti, Julie Locke, Shabina Akhtar. Topics will include depression, coping mechanisms, natural therapies, cultural barriers, maternal health and much more. Don't miss out on this rare opportunity to speak to professionals one-to-one and to have your questions answered. Sunday the 8th of April, 2 to 6 p.m, Alton Hall Hotel, Alton Longville, Peterborough, PE2 7DN. For tickets, please call or text on 07821 574 475 or visit our Facebook page, The Lantern Initiative.
Need a great place to chill out? Look no further than The Lounge for quality food and drinks at a great price. Try our varied menu: pasta, seafood, burgers, grills, salad, soup, rice and sides. Also hot and cold drinks, milkshakes and mocktails. Leave room for our exquisite desserts. The Lounge, 417 Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call 01733 709 306 to order for delivery. The Lounge, friendly service with a great atmosphere.
Gems and jewels, wise sayings, interesting events, and moral lessons from Islamic history. The first university.
The first university in the world was the University of Qarawiyyin in the city of Fas in Morocco, which was ordered to be built by Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Fihri al-Qirawani. Fatima and Maryam, his two daughters, made sure it was built as per their father's request. It was completed in 859 Hijrah and was originally a mosque for prayer, as well as an institution for knowledge and Islamic jurisprudence.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
And we are back live on Salaam Sports here on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM and on Inspire FM in Luton 105.1. Thank you so much for joining us again after that short break. We hope you got lots of information from the little adverts in between. But we're back to the sports and we're back to the Australian cricket team. Before we go on to the Australian cricket team, just very, very quickly, England are in the middle of a fantastic test against New Zealand.
Yeah.
And they're on the verge of what could be their first win in a test overseas in, how long? 4 years? We haven't won a single test away from home in ages.
After getting hammered last week.
I think it's the last
After getting hammered last week, absolutely annihilated. But that's always going to happen. 58 for, 58 all out.
Yeah, they're always fighting, aren't they? After that,
it was absolutely abysmal. But with this test match, though,
which didn't really get the coverage because of the other incidents that were happening.
Yes,
So
and it probably helped.
lucky.
It probably helped. And I'd say the best thing about the England performance is that they have actually not lost all the limelight, given what's going on with Australia. They're doing well enough to actually keep people interested in what they're doing. So first innings, they were down. They were quite, low scoring. They were about 70, 80 for 5, and they had a really good partnership towards the end. Bairstow got 100, and they took their total over 300 in the first innings. And then New Zealand were 38 for 5. So
and they did quite well.
They did very well again. So both innings, I think they kind of recovered in the tail end. But it looks like the ball's doing a lot. The new ball's doing a lot.
Yeah, there's rumours of sandpapers flying around.
No, there are no rumours of any sandpaper anywhere in New Zealand whatsoever. That was clearly an April Fool's comment. But the big thing was, they came back and England had a lead after the first innings of about 35. And Asda Cook failed again. He went out for about 14. And
he's not
the
had
onus
a
was
50 for about 15 innings now. His
he
last
hasn't
big
gone.
knock was 200 that he got in the Ashes.
It's not bad, is it? 200.
Yeah, but he's not had
the
anything.
Ashes.
Yeah.
It's not bad, is it?
I think they are with Alistair Cook. I think another couple of failures that they will look at maybe replacing him because
all the talk before the second innings by England was around Stoneman and Vince, who haven't really established themselves, and maybe even Malan as well. They've not really established themselves in the squad. They're not the names that you'd think of straight away.
No.
But Stoneman's got 84.
Vince has got 250s on trot.
Yeah, Vince has got 70 something on in the second innings. And they've put England in a fantastic position. England are now leading by about 230. 3 wickets down, and it's only the end of day 3. So it looks like a good day of batting. Don't lose any early wickets. Get deep into the second period, second session. And give them a target of about 350.
They've applied themselves properly this time round. I think they've gone in with the right mentality and
they're battling.
Yeah, they're battling,
really
and
battling.
you've got to to get anywhere, you've got to battle, and they obviously didn't do it in the previous test, did they?
Yeah, and the thing I've seen, so I've followed quite a lot of this test. The thing I've seen is it really is a battle of attrition. You've got to win all those mini sessions. You've got to win that session. You've got to not be completely blown away in a particular session. And it's 5 days, 3 sessions, 15 different sessions a day. And you've got to have your focus on constantly. Shout out to the bowlers, though. I mean, Bolt and Southey got all 10 wickets in the first innings. Broad and Anderson got all 10 wickets in the second innings. And now Bolt and Southey have got the 3 wickets in the third innings. So it's like, just bring 2 bowlers. Let them bowl out the whole innings. But that is good and that's exciting and that's keeping us interested.
And they've dropped a couple of players, didn't they? England have dropped Moyen, brother Mo.
And
which I was a bit upset about.
Yeah, I was gutted about that. I didn't even look at who else they dropped. It was just
his
that they dropped
replacement, that guy Leach. No wickets. I mean, like I said, because obviously it's not really a spinning wicket, turning wicket, but no wickets. But he did okay with the bat. He got 20 odd, 25 odd in the lower order.
And I think with Moyen, I think we've discussed it. We've talked about him over the last 2 or 3 months now. And 3 months ago, I think he was not going to be getting out of the team, was he? And all of a sudden, he's had some really poor performances. I think he's not just applying himself.
I don't think he gets the. I mean, like you
I
said,
think Moeen Ali has to do a lot more than other players. That's my view.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say. I mean,
because he bats at number 7, but they expect him to bat like a number 3. Now, and if you expect him to bat like a number 3, put him at number 3. Why have you got James Vincent there? And he should be. I think Moeen Ali should be a Test batsman who can bowl a bit, like Joe Root. I don't think he should be judged. If he fails in his batting, they say, oh, he didn't make runs. If he fails in his bowling, he's in the team because he's a bowler.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
No.
You know, if he's a genuine
And they've not
all-rounder,
been a consistent number, whatever number they give him.
Well,
They've chopped and
with
changed so many
him they have,
times.
haven't they?
well, we've
It's
got a few people
unbelievable.
watching. We've got Adi Ahmed watching. We've got Shabina Sadkim watching. Shoaib Manshur, Sadiq Ismail, Ansar Ali's watching. Dujon, let us have your comments, mate. I'm sure Dujon's got quite a few comments about the Australian cricket team and what's been going on. We have to move on to the Australian cricket team, otherwise we're not going to talk about it at all. So, a timeline of events.
Oh, yeah.
Day 3 of the third Test match
Well,
between.
in the series in itself, there was issues, wasn't it? Because the coach Dan Lehman was
Yes.
saying how hostile the crowd were, and it was I can't remember the word it was, but I'm sure he was saying it was unfair. And this is coming from Australia, and obviously all the teams around the world were.
Prior to that,
made me laugh.
Yeah,
Because
it made everyone around the
treatment-
world in cricket laugh.
The treatment that the England cricket team got during the Ashes
Yep.
was it was harassment, it was bullying, it was and they were laughing at state of people's mental health when Trott had to leave
Yep.
Yeah.
because of mental issues, and they kind of had a laugh about it on social
especially
media and
Warner,
stuff.
I think he was the main culprit, wasn't he?
David Warner's a bully.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. David Warner, and that's not just David Warner. The whole setup there, and like you were saying about how their swimmers are getting a bit aggressive, their cricketers have always been aggressive. But I've always found that there was a touch of class with the aggressiveness and the way they used to play back in the day. And now that class is gone, and now it's just mean.
I think they've always had classy players, haven't they, who've managed to get them through over the line, and when they're on top of teams, they've actually destroyed teams. Now they've got a sort of just above average team, and it's their sledging and everything else, which they're trying.
Mind games.
Yeah,
That
they're mind
take it
games. They're
online.
trying to win it through mind games, etc.
So you're right. Earlier in the tour, there was Australia
Lehman's,
crying
yeah.
about being bullied by the
Yeah.
crowd and stuff. And do you know what? If you give it, you got to take it.
Yeah.
I think a few England internationals have said the same thing. You
Yeah.
know, if you're going to give it, you have to take it. So that was a bit, sour grapes.
Yeah.
From their side. But day 3, I mean, this is for a timeline of what happened. Bancroft pulls something out of his pocket.
Yes.
And uses it to wipe, alter the condition of the ball. Essentially, is what he's doing. He got spotted, and apparently, is it Faf du Plessis said?
Faf du Plessis, yeah.
Did he say that when
Yeah,
he
yeah.
spoken to the camera crew and said, "Watch these guys because they're getting reverse swing a lot quicker than other teams." So there was a suspicion there. Now
Okay.
everything that's come
Yeah.
out since is, it was the first time it happened. It was the only
Yeah,
time it
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Blah, blah. But there was a suspicion there that these guys were getting movement off the ball, reverse swing off the ball, a lot sooner than other teams. So they must be doing something. Keep an eye on them, he said to the camera crew. So the camera's following them, and then sure enough, he's taken something out of his pocket, wiped it on the ball.
I think it was quite obvious, again, with so many cameras available there, I don't think they would ever, or however they thought they would get away with something like that. It's just
Well,
surprising.
I mean,
that camera follows the ball full
yeah.
stop all the time.
But they thought they'd get away with it, didn't they? It's
So
simple as
then,
that. Yeah.
the buzz started going around. People realised what was going on. I think.
Oh, they showed it on the
Bancroft-
big screen.
I think
What,
Bancroft
at the
was
time.
told. Bancroft was told whether.
Yeah,
it
they
was-
showed
whether it was Lehman telling his 12th
on
man.
the walkie-talkie, weren't they?
Yeah,
They
on
showed
the
it.
walkie, or if it was somebody else, or maybe he suspected himself, or maybe he just bottled it completely. He then went to put said object down the front of his pants,
Yeah.
and that was on the big screen as well. You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
clearly see him putting something down the front of his pants. And then the umpire asks him to empty
Approach.
his pockets,
Yeah.
and he does, and he pulls out cloth. And he goes, "What, Gov? I've only got a cloth
Yeah.
to wipe the sweat off my hands."
And they allowed the game to continue after that, didn't they?
They did,
Yeah.
but then at the end of the play, at the end of play, they were questioned about it, and that's when he first came out and he said, "Yes, I had some sticky tape."
Which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Which is a lie. I
Yeah.
had some sticky tape, and it was discussed by the leadership team, and I was told. So he's basically sold his buddies out
Yeah.
because he's been caught.
I think
No, but wasn't it first that they were both there, wasn't it? Steve Smith and
Yes,
I forgot his
Yeah.
name now. The opener,
Bancroft.
Bancroft, yeah. So they're both there, and then I can remember the media were obviously comparing it to when they were last time both together, and they were at the Ashes, and they were having a laugh and a joke, and how things have now quite turned and
Yeah.
changed. And that's when they said team
It's
leadership.
just- okay,
was
so
like-
one thing I really cannot, tolerate is hypocrisy. When somebody's there saying you can't cheat, why are you cheating? Oh my god, it's a disgrace, and they've called a lot of people out for cheating, and they've said
Absolutely.
some vicious stuff, career-ending stuff for other players in the past, and now they've done this.
Oh well, we can remember. I'm sure you can all remember when the time, and it was completely false at the time as well. with Wasim Akram Waqar Yunus straight after winning the World Cup. They came over the tour to England, and they're great in swinging Yorkers that Waqar did, the swinging balls Wasim, and England were baffled. They're saying, well, how can they swing the ball? This can't be right.
This is the thing that I absolutely cannot understand. Harbhajan Singh, he's been tweeting about it. You know that, right? So Harbhajan Singh's been tweeting about it, saying the ICC gave us like a 6-match ban or something for excessive appealing. Now, excessive appealing is not cheating.
No.
Like, you're winding the umpire up and you're trying to
put him under pressure
to give you a wicket. That's not cheating. That's trying to influence the outcome, is just trying to make him see the different side
and
of it.
sportsmanship, like
I think that's within the law. You know, it's
within
unsportsmanly, but it's within the laws of the game. You can appeal, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, that happens every week on a football pitch. You know, the people get onto the referee's back. That's normal practice, and you expect that.
When was the last time you saw a bowler hit the pads, turn around and say, "How is that, umpire?"
Yeah,
you know, you don't do it. The whole team goes up and they go, "Okay, but maybe India were guilty of excessive appealing."
Yeah,
but a six match ban.
Yeah,
that is and then this is. Clearly, they've cheated. Firstly, secondly,
premeditated. Yeah.
Thirdly, lied about the object in his pocket.
Yep.
Fourthly, it was at least a 3-man plan. At least a 3-man
came.
Because Steve Smith said we discussed it in the leadership team, and he never told us who the leadership team is. Now people have said, you know, who might the leadership team be, and that's like some of the more senior players. But you got 4 or 5 senior players in that team. Obviously, Warner's one of them. He's been implicated now as well. But who else was there? Was Stark there?
Well, he's got these.
I think is it?
They didn't get picked for captain, did they?
Yeah.
Is it Warren who said that there's got to be more people involved in this, and there's implications that I know they're not going to check up on the Ashes, but. You know,
England were on top. I mean, again, I think they've taken their opportunity. England were on top of it all the way.
Vaughan said, didn't he? Vaughan goes, I'd be very surprised if none of this went on during the Ashes.
Absolutely. And
I think a bit of sour grapes, though.
No. I don't think it is.
It's not, because he said, I don't think it's altered the course of the match. They were significantly better than us, but there is a suspicion there now, and there has to be, even in your mind.
There's suspicion. There'll be now. Once you've got caught of a crime, you're thinking, well, hang on, you only know about it because he's caught now. That's like someone gets caught speeding, and you say, "Officer, it was my first time." No, it's the first time you've been caught, son.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It does raise suspicion, and I just think, you can't take the word for it and say,
I think the bigger picture is, and you know, we're missing the bigger picture here.
What's the bigger picture?
Go on,
the bigger picture.
Tell us what the bigger.
Go on, put it on widescreen.
Okay, let me try to talk to you about it.
Can I just get our listeners to pay attention now, because I was about to break down the bigger picture here for us.
The bigger picture is, we discussed this, but we only flapped over the information. One game ban. Australia have given them a year ban. The other thing is, now, if you look at everything was premeditated beforehand. They went into the interview straight after the game. They lied in the interview. Then, you've got to remember, I was listening to the radio yesterday. I won't say which radio show it was. And they were discussing that you've got to remember, professional sportsmen are coached these days. So, and a lot of people are accusing them and suggesting that 2 days later, this crying fit that they're having now is premeditated.
Not genuine enough.
So I saw the Steve Smith interview, and I walked past the screen. There's a screen on at work, and I walk past the screen. I see Steve Smith crying, and I laughed, and I went back to my desk, and I thought to myself, does that make me a mean person? Because he's on international television, crying, saying he's sorry, and I'm laughing at him. That make me mean? That does make me mean, doesn't it?
I don't think it does. I think what you've got to look at the context of Australian cricket at the moment. And
Cricket Australia.
Cricket Australia. To be honest, and I'm going to put it out there.
Go for it.
When he was crying and his thinging, I thought he's made a mistake. He's genuine.
Ask yourself.
He's apologising.
He's apologising for
because he's got caught.
Not for anything else.
Yeah, but he feels bad about it.
If they had won that game,
it wouldn't have come out.
It would never have come out, and they would have been laughing and taking the mick out of South Africa.
I agree with Arif. I think you don't cry over the crime. You cry over the repercussions of being caught.
Yeah.
And he's not crying because he's made a big mistake and he'd never do it again, whether he was caught or not.
He's lost his IPL contract
because he was caught.
Yeah.
No, but you have remorse after you've done the crime. You can't say there's no remorse.
Are you saying if he hadn't been caught, he'd be crying at that same time?
No, I'm not. I don't think it would have been in front of his face and realised what he's done.
You're trying to say to that.
Well, you know, it's like when the truth really hits you, you think, yeah, this is, you know, we got away with it, we won, that's it, good, let's go on, move on, next game.
But I know, okay.
But
so
it's like
diving
in football, isn't it?
I know you're playing.
You dive in football, you've got the penalty, you accept it, and you move on.
I know you're playing devil's advocate.
When you get caught by the camera, you're thinking,
fine.
yeah, I'm wrong.
Yeah, but this is the situation. They're playing for Australian cricket.
Yes.
Steve Smith is by far and away one of the best batsmen in the world.
Yes.
Whether he cheats or not, you can't take that away from him.
No, yeah.
Right? He's got $1 million contract in the IPL.
Yep.
Bancroft has got $1 million contract.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you.
This is what you mean
Warner, sorry.
Warner, yeah.
So this is what is at stake. You've got a fantastic living from this beautiful sport that is cricket, and you're bringing the whole game into disrepute at the highest level, Test cricket, international Test cricket, touring South Africa. It's the highest level, and you're bringing the game into dispute. Why? To get a wicket maybe 5 overs earlier than you would have otherwise got. You know,
to win the game, the goal to win the game.
To win the game. Yeah. But what happens if they lose the game? What's the repercussions of them losing the game?
They lose the game. Well, nobody wants to lose, do they?
Yeah, but what's the repercussions?
Well, he loses his captaincy. If
Does
he continually loses, not this particular game, but if it's a continuous defeat.
I think they were so desperate to beat South Africa that they've taken chances, and who knows.
Well, it's not just the thing is, we're going on the basis it's not just South Africa that they might have done this before, so they want to win the games to stay on top, and by any means possible.
Winning the game by cheating is
wrong.
Unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
I think you guys are missing my point. My point is this: you know, if you win, great. If you lose, bad luck. Yeah, that's the two outcomes in the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, or a draw, right? And
it's more than bad luck.
No, but listen, Warner, Steve Smith. You know, they're giants of the game. They're absolutely huge. They've got contracts with, sponsorship deals with lots and lots of companies. They've got $1 million contracts with the IPL. They've got other contracts going on. They've chosen a path which is going to stain their name, their reputation. And a lot of the commentary I've seen coming out of all this is you've stained your reputation. You could have been a great of the game, and he really could have.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. Steve Smith is one of the most annoying batsmen ever.
Oh yeah.
For the England team anyway. Yeah. So they've gone out there to cheat to get a small advantage to help the Australian team win, but they've gone beyond the rules, and they've probably not realised how bad a situation it is, how bad it is for them to be doing what they're doing. They've done it because if they realised how bad it was, they might not have done it. If they realised that they could get caught and these are the repercussions, they probably wouldn't have done it. But they did it because they were just stupid. They were completely stupid.
Oh yeah.
If you look at what's to gain and what's to lose, here's a personal $1 million contract for me and my family, and here's a win for Australian cricket. But I'm already a legend of Australian cricket. He's already a legend, isn't he?
But then they're not bothered about. I think they had they thought
win is so important for every single game at that level.
No, it's I disagree. Look, you play to the best of your ability. If you end up losing the game, that's fine. With these guys,
we talk about the Australian attitude, the way they are, that they still in their mind think, yeah, we're the biggest, we're the best, and they're so arrogant that they have to win every game. And because they're not winning every game like they were or before in the history, they've obviously gone down this road,
touring
which is completely
South
wrong.
Africa is not easy.
No, it's not.
Who you are.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely.
And when they come here in England to the Ashes,
would it have been a big shame? I see what you point. Would it have been a big shame if they lost the series in South Africa, which they're going to lose anyway?
Well, they're absolutely annihilated now.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not going to be a big shame. Okay,
it is not now. It's not now, though, is it?
But now it's a big shame.
And if you look at what's happened to the Australian cricket team, so they've lost one of their frontline bowlers.
Yep.
They've got their two best batsmen. It is Smith and Warner, isn't it? Their two best batsmen have gone. Smith's replacement got a duck. Warner's replacement got something like 3 or 4. I don't even know the guy's name.
I think their heads are clearly not in the game now. Anyway,
my personal feeling is that with the Warner, he's finished now. He's not going to get back in.
I didn't find Warner's apology genuine.
Okay,
you did or didn't?
No, I didn't find.
I didn't
find it.
I didn't find any apology genuine. If you look,
that just makes just because Steve Smith's a better actor. That's all he is.
And a lot of people on social media, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of legends in the game are saying this guy, he's acting. this is
no,
an act.
a lot of people
Also
also saying
Smith or both.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
If you
shame-
look at it, I mean, if they had so much remorse, why did they try to lie in the first interview and get away with it? Because they didn't think the public was going to take it as badly as it did.
I feel bad for Bancroft. Of the three,
the youngest,
Yeah.
okay, because
Of
he was
course.
influenced.
He's
Yeah.
the least
Mohammed
experienced.
Amir, sort of like type
Kind of, yeah. Kind
situation.
Of. I mean, he's still.
But Shane Warne, and we're talking about legends and other Aussies and other critics are saying that people have gone over the top with the criticism
Well, no,
of the three. They've made a mistake. They've put their hands up. They've been punished. A year ban, isn't it? A year for
Yeah,
all three
a year.
of them?
1 year ban,
Or
yeah,
is it?
and losing their lucrative contracts.
Yeah, obviously losing their contracts.
I think
It's quite. Is that? Do you think the punishment fits the crime? I mean, you've seen.
No,
You've seen,
I
you've seen
think-
other.
I think
other,
I think- yeah, well,
other
I mean-
moments. Let's remember Atherton.
Yeah.
Did the tampering with the ball. I don't remember him getting a year ban. Shahid Afridi, he was hungry.
He was just hungry.
He got a couple of matches banned.
Yeah.
The most, I think, shocking moment is the way that they came out and said it was a team leadership thing and it was all pre-planned, and that's made it worse than anything. But a year ban, do you think that?
Well,
Is
Cricket
too
Australia have
much.
banned them for a year.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
personally
yes.
think they should get a 5-year ban each.
So going
But,
down the
you know,
match fixing type.
look, exactly.
So
This
I think that's excessive
It's-
because
it may be
the match fixing was it's actually a criminal.
Yeah.
It's a criminal event. It's a criminal incident
because bookies were involved.
because bookies are
in that.
involved
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you actually
It's a
try
bigger
to profit
picture.
from it.
Yeah.
This is, and here you can say indirectly you're trying to profit from it because you want to be the best team in the world and you want to get those results. But
Yeah.
I think that was an organised criminal ring rather than this is just a bunch of players who are trying to win at all costs and they crossed the
team
line.
gain rather than a personal gain. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. So they've crossed the line. I think the ICC bans were nowhere near correct. Yeah, they should have been far more strict with that.
Definitely.
Just because of the level at which the game is being played and who's playing it. You know, it's like they are monsters of the game, like I said. Cricket Australia, they've banned them for a year. I think that's probably, for me, that's probably about right. That's what I think. Again, given the climate in which we live,
But,
now social media,
they are
everything's out
gonna.
everywhere, right?
You do know Image. They are gonna appeal, and they may get their.
Well, have they
ban.
confirmed that?
I mean, a lot of people are saying that the bans are too excessive. Cricket Australia have got no leg to stand on to ban them for that period.
They've banned them, and they've also said that they're not allowed to be a captaincy for 3 years. I think it is.
Well, even
Yeah.
if Cricket Australia revoke their bans, they can still choose. The selectors can choose to not pick them in
Yeah.
the squad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. You know, the fact that they'll get their most exposure when they're playing for Australia. So whether the ban stands, doesn't stand, whether they appeal or don't appeal, I think.
Yeah,
for
it's
me-
like similar. Sorry to interrupt. It's like the Pakistani thing. Mohammed Amir's back, but they haven't got Mohammed Asif's not back, and Salman. But they're legally allowed to play now, but they're not selected.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
their careers are come to an end anyway. I think with the Steve Smith, I think this is going to affect him psychologically as well. Being the best batsman in the world as well,
Was
and
he
being a year.
number one Test batsman, wasn't he?
I believe so.
I think
it
he
was
was
between
probably
it was
number one or
him,
two,
Root
yeah.
and Kohli, wasn't
Yeah.
it? The three.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was up and down between them, and I think Smith was ahead, if I remember correctly, because he was doing better abroad than Kohli. Kohli was performing well in India, and Root as well. I think he's just England have just.
I don't
been
think
having a bad
Bancroft's
Root.
coming back. I think he's
So either, I mean,
Really, I think Bancroft surely's got more chance of coming back than Warner or
yeah,
Smith.
probably.
He's
but
younger as well.
He's
Yeah.
younger, but he's an average player. He's not up and
Okay.
coming. So
So why do you think? Sorry, it's just a slightly different. You had to get in the chronology again. Smith does his apology. No, Bancroft did his
we've only got
apology
a couple
first.
of minutes left, by the way.
Bancroft did his apology first. Then it's Smith. Warner. He waited quite a bit a while, didn't he, before he did his?
Yeah, Warner wanted to come
Warner
back
basically,
home.
this is what
Yeah.
Warner did. Warner came out and he says, I'm here to speak to you today because
Oh yeah,
cry.
He looked like he
Sorry.
was pushing for his tears.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm here today because I want to take full responsibility for my role in the incident that occurred on day 3. And now I'm willing to take any questions. Cry. And that's what he did. And then every question he got asked,
Same answer.
his response was, I'm here to take full responsibility for my actions, and I'm really, really sorry.
'Cause they
And
asked
then
who was the
they
team
said, well, you haven't
leadership.
answered the question. And they're like, next question, please.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, he's not answered the question. He had a script, and he was sticking to the
Yeah,
script.
of course.
And he's since tweeted, this is how bad it is. He's since tweeted saying, I couldn't answer all of the questions, but the answers will come out in time. Oh, come on. You're not some kind of soap opera. Either you're there and
End
you're
of season 1. Wait to season 2.
Exactly. It's not like a cliffhanger.
But that's why I
is
think
it?
Smith didn't. It was his press conference was much more off the cuff. It wasn't a
Did
script.
Smith take questions though?
He did take questions. And they said,
Did he
like, what do you
answer any
kid?
of
Yeah, he did. They started like, what do you think the kids will think who are watching you, millions of fans?
Sure, okay.
And he said, oh, two things. No, sorry,
Well, he had
three
his
things.
dad
One, I
there with him,
apologise.
didn't he? And-
His dad put his hand on his shoulder every time he was red in tears.
No, okay, so we come to the end of the show. I hope our listeners and viewers have enjoyed some of the discussion. And obviously,
We didn't
if you've
talk
got any
about
comments
football
on it-
this year.
We didn't talk about football at all because we've had such a massive.
Next
story in
week,
cricket.
big thing: City, Liverpool,
City,
Champions
Liverpool,
League,
yeah, Champions League,
and City and United in the Premier League.
and City could win the league potentially. So that's a big thing. What else is going on in the football?
Well, I
Who
could,
Barcelona got
I
in
can
the
tell you, but I'm going to tell you later on. It will come out at the end.
We can talk about it later on.
Sorry, I couldn't answer all your questions today, but they will come out in time. I just want to take responsibility for my part in the show that we've delivered today.
I'll
and
take
apologise
responsibility for my
sincerely.
part.
I'm taking no responsibility for anything you guys are saying.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Inshallah, we will see you again next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Salaam.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Sponsor